In this short video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do presets or versioning inside Davinci Resolve. There's a slight different terminology with a lot of these pieces of software, but we're going to make presets. Well, I'm going to show you how to do 6, and then I'm going to show you how to do as many as you want. Inside Davinci Resolve Fusion, I've got my little group here, which is just a background, a text and a merge. So I made a text plus. Inside the inspector, we've got our controls. So everything inside the effects library, you can add presets to. If we just come up to the top, we've got the title. This little red on-off switch turns the node on and off. We then can change the color of the node. As you can see, there's the color of the node. And then next to it, we've got these two rectangles overlapping each other. And if we hover over them, it says versions. Just select that. And we've got now the version controls. The default is 1. And all you need to do is go 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and they're now all active. However, a couple of good housekeeping tips, I suppose, or best practice. Whichever the red bar is underneath, that will be your default title or default macro. So I always come back to 1, and then it's just logical for me. Number 1's my default. We could just save this out as 6 exactly the same, so 6 preset 1, and change them in the project. The idea is really to set up 6 different and more, which I'll show you shortly, presets. Then we can drag them into the macro. We don't need to save in the power bins. We don't need to put it back in the media pool. We bring it out of the effects library onto the timeline. We hit the version we want, done. Really easy, and we can set all the parameters up initially. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through here, and all I'm going to do is just change the title, but you can change absolutely any parameter, even slight tweaks in the parameter. You can't add nodes and you can't remove nodes. You can only change the actual parameters that you've already got inside your macro. Once I've changed all them, I've got the red under the 6. I'm going to bring it back to the 1, and this is important as well when we do more than 6. What I do is there's 2 things I've started to do. First of all, I've always started now saving as a group operator. I don't see any point in saving as a macro operator. It's just clunky. People can get in them anyway, so why not just let people do it? And I can add in nodes here. What I also do is I will save the master one, the original macro, in a completely separate folder on my computer. I've even got them in the cloud on my Google Drive, so I have a backup, and we can always bring them back in and start again. So if we make mistakes or it's just not what we're looking for, we can bring the original back and away we go. All we do now, we've got the 6 presets all set up, and we're on 1, which will be the default. We come to the nodes, right click, settings, save as, and then we want to go into our template, edit, titles, and I highly recommend you rename this. So I'm going to call this 6 presets. The reason I've done this is because if I make a mistake, I want to be able to go back, but I will put the original presets inside of a different folder somewhere. And now inside the edit page in the effects library titles, you'll see I've got my presets, my original one. If I bring that in, we've got no versions. If I then bring the 6 presets in, we've got 6 versions. And if I just hit these, you'll notice on the screen it's changing to my 6 presets. Simple as that. For 6 presets, you can do it with absolutely every macro, which makes it extremely powerful. But there's more. I'm going to go back into Fusion using the macro that I've set up that has versions in. And what I'm going to do, so we've had 6 before, I'm going to rename them. What's important with this is we've decided, or I decided in this scenario, is my default is number 1. I need to make sure I have my default as number 1. And that just keeps everything flowing nice and neat. I'm not going to resave this so it goes back into the template library. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and go settings, save as, and I'm going to save it somewhere completely different. I'm actually going to just, for demonstration purposes, put it in the, I've already done this once. We'll call it preset 12. I'm going to put it in the documents folder. It's not inside Davinci Resolve. I've renamed it preset 12. It's there. If we come back in here, it's not there. If I delete that, it's not in here. I can bring in these 6 presets. I can then jump over to Fusion. Remember, we've got preset 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and 1 is our default. This is important. Put it on 1, same default. And if you keep this as like a convention, it works. We then go into settings, load, go back into that documents folder, grab hold of this preset and load it, and now we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And that's updated on the timeline as well. So you can have as many presets as you want, store them in a folder and just load them straight in. You don't need to have thousands and thousands of titles inside your effects library. You can have your favorites or the ones that you use for your production, and you can change them up however many times you want, save them out into a separate folder, and they'll bring them in. The caveat that I did find was an issue. You need to decide which is the default. So I've picked 1, I think that's logical, and save everything out with the default with a red line under 1. If we save this out with number 2, then it will be out of order. Doesn't make a massive difference, but because we can't rename this 1 to 6, then you might have a crib sheet somewhere, so you know, right, number 1 is that preset, number 2 is that preset. And when you get up to number 34, if they're in the wrong order, it might get confusing. So there we go. That's a quick idea, but it works for absolutely any macro. And another short video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. That thumbs up gives me some dopamine and really encourages me to get back in front of this computer and record some more. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and enjoy the rest of your day.